It's
All right.
I'm getting a lot of flashing with this. Every time someone comes in, it's beeping on my side.
Yeah, me
Yep.
too.
I'm trying to stop that beep. Give me a sec.
There it goes.
Just get it. All right, are we live?
We are live. I am trying to disable lobby.
Here we got quite a few people coming on.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, that's still looks like people are coming in. I'm getting the beeps here, so
Yeah, and I'm trying to get rid of the beep. 1 second. Meeting info. Please hold.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. We're just getting everybody from the lobby into the giant meeting room. It's a full house. Appreciate all of your interest, and we'll get started shortly. You should be able to see the corporate bonus plan design welcome page and our smiling faces.
let's give it till 10:35. If it's still, we'll just try to carry on here.
That sounds great.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of pop-ups here. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Looks like we have close to 500 people here, so that's fantastic. Looks like some more people are even coming on as we speak.
Danny,
try-
the screen isn't sharing yet. We're getting a lot of feedback that we're only seeing our faces and not the presentation.
Should be
And
able to see the screen.
Some can't hear.
Some
It
people
sounds
can't
like.
hear, but we could hear, so it's there.
Okay, whatever you did worked.
So this is actually just this is actually now showing the screen, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Might be at a little bit of lag.
We need to silence.
Wow. Every time someone's commenting, it's popping up here. All right. Should we try to get started, Danny, or what?
I think we are good to get started. Some people still say mine's absolutely fine, so I'm assuming possibly blank screen and only audio. Eric may actually need some help. Blank screen. It should, yeah, because everyone should be able to see what we see. So.
All right. For those of you that can't see the screen, we can happily share that with you either at the next meeting or send them to you. We'll figure something out. But I think we should probably get going.
Okay, if people could, you don't need to send the notes at this point. Obviously, some people aren't able to see the screen. We'll have to follow up with folks and try our best to get through this. If we have to reschedule for some, we'll go ahead and do that. And again, our apologies for that. Not quite sure why we're having the technical issues. Might be because we have quite a few people here on the webinar. In any event, to get started, we've spent the last couple years working, actually about 20 months working on our redesign of our corporate bonus plan. And this really came from a lot of feedback that we had received from the employees starting a couple years ago, following through with some of the We Connect tours that we've had. And, essentially and maybe Danny, if you could go to the next slide here. Danny, are you able to? There we go. Okay.
There seems to be a little bit of delay.
Okay. In any event, what we heard from a lot of our employees out there was that, they didn't really understand our bonus program. The bonus payments were subjective, had a lot of comments regarding favoritism from managers, lack of transparency. Really was not a program that was building trust and confidence with our employees. And, that's obviously not where we want to be as a company. So we set out, again, a couple years ago to try thinking about what a new bonus plan would look like for next year, paying out in March of 27. So just to be clear, as we come into this, the payout of bonuses for the 2025 year, which will occur in March of 2026, will continue to be under the existing plan. We of course want to roll out the new plan, make sure everyone is aligned and understands how that plan operates starting in January of 26, governing your performance in 26 for payment of bonuses in March of 2027. Going to the next slide, looking at some of the guiding principles that really we kept in the back of our mind as we designed the new program. We wanted to keep it simple, make sure that our employees understood exactly what was expected of them and how their bonus was going to be calculated. We are a performance-driven company. We want to make sure that we reward our employees that are excelling in their job. So we have built this plan with a focus around rewarding great performance. We of course want to make sure it's affordable and that you have the trust and confidence that we will always be able to pay the bonuses per the plan. We wanted to get rid of some of the subjectivity and try to build a plan that people thought was fair, transparent, and easily understood. And we wanted a plan that was flexible. As we continue to grow, it can grow with us. So those were some of our guiding principles as we went into the process. One reason it took a while for us to get to the final plan is we had to essentially create a foundation for the plan. And what I mean by that is that, as you'll see, the simplicity of this plan is that our employees are all at a particular grade level. This is a leveling system that is used by almost all Fortune 500 companies. It's a way of ensuring that your value that you provide to the company is objectively determined and appropriately gauged, so that we can then tie compensation to that level. So many of you here have probably already seen or heard about the leveling that has been taking place within the job families that you work in. If you haven't, your managers with the HR business partners will be making sure that you understand what level you are at within the organization and how that works. Because come January 1st, when you look into Workday, you're going to see what your job level is. And that job level will determine the target bonus percentage for your plan. So again, it took us a long time. Chris and his team have worked with all of the job families, the managers, to look at the different jobs within that family and how they should be appropriately leveled within the organization. After we've done that, we also went and did many benchmarking studies with outside consultants to make sure that our bonus amounts that we're targeting are highly competitive to market. So, we wanted to make sure that you were being not only paid fairly, but being paid commensurate with, a top of the industry company, which is what we are. And lastly, we did a lot of modeling and reviewing of the different target percentages to make sure that we were both hitting market and that we were not going to have bonuses that were significantly less or different than what you've had in the past. So for the most part, the target bonuses, when we looked at market studies, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for a lot of the levels, we were within market, and we wanted to make sure that the targets that we were setting were at least going to be at that point, if not higher. So those were kind of how we approached designing the plan. I know you all want to get to what is the plan, but I think it's important that we spend a little bit of time just to explain how we got here. These job families and the grades, just to give you an example of one job family. So, again, some of you might be very familiar with this, some of you might not. But we will make sure that he understands their grade level moving into next year. This is the project management family. You can see that someone starting out in that family is a grade 7. And as you work your way up through that, job family, other job families have the same grade leveling, but their titles will fit a little bit differently to other job families. And the way that works is that, we look at, for example, procurement analyst and procurement and assistant project manager. They may very well have different salaries, of course, but in terms of their experience, what they're providing in terms of value to the company, this grade leveling system has a way of ensuring that we're treating them similarly. So that's why you'll see procurement analyst sitting at the same level as, for example, an assistant project manager. Going on to the next slide. There's a real important thing that a lot of you that are in project roles right now, we have a bonus plan for our project folks that we will not be changing rolling into next year. So if you see yourself in one of these office or field positions, those individuals have formulaic bonus plans that will remain in place for next year. And the only caveat to that is that if your bonus calculated under these formulaic plans that are currently in place for these roles, if that would provide you less of a bonus than what you would get under the corporate plan, you'll default to the corporate plan. And the reason for this is that we had a lot of feedback that certain project roles, the formulaic plans are based on the profitability of those projects. There are certain situations where some of those projects are going through difficult financial situations. People are performing at a very high level. They're helping to mitigate the risk on those projects, and yet they're not being rewarded from a bonus perspective because those projects are not at the end of the day making money. And so in those situations, the corporate plan will provide a bonus to those individuals to reward the that they've given over the prior year. So that's the caveat for the project roles. But for the most part, those that are sitting in these positions should recognize that their bonus plans are not going to be changing rolling into next year. All right. This is sort of the definition of how the corporate bonus plan will work. Each job under the new corporate plan will have a bonus target expressed as a percentage of base salary. So if you looked back at the job families that I showed you before with the grades 9, 10, 11, each of those grade levels will have a certain percentage of salary. That percentage will show in Workday at the start of the year. So you'll see your grade level and you'll see your target bonus percentage. We're not showing all of the bonus percentages right now, but you'll see the bonus percentage that's set to your grade level. And that will essentially create the threshold for your bonus. So it'll be very simple for you to understand if you're a grade level 15, your target bonus percentage, I'm speaking off the cuff here, I believe, and Chris and Danny can correct me, 20%. You'll know that the threshold bonus percentage year will be 20% of your salary. That target bonus percentage is then subject to adjustment based on several different factors. The main one being, or the main two being company or regional performance. We will have the ability to adjust up or down the target percentages based on how well we're doing to, how we budgeted the year. So a lot of you remember last year where we had an adder to our bonus based on the fact that we had a stellar year. Under this new corporate bonus plan, you might see that as an increase in the target percentages of maybe 3 to 5%, for example. And as we move through the year, if it's looking like we're heading in that direction at a company or regional level, we will let folks know that the targets may be adjusted in that way. The next main one is really your own personal performance, right? So you're going to be going through performance reviews this year, and that'll happen again next year. And it's right at the end of the year, moving into the first quarter of the following year. And as that performance review cycle happens, if you're exceeding expectations, your manager will have the ability to adjust your target bonus percentage upwards of 5% of that target percentage. Similarly, if you're not performing, not meeting expectations, then the manager can adjust it downward, and we have a plus or minus 5%. We do allow managers to come to the executive committee if they feel that the percentages should be adjusted more than the plus or minus 5%. So that's why you'll see that asterisk there. So there may be a situation where a particular individual has really gone above and beyond expectations, and the manager feels that they should be rewarded more than the 5% increase to their base target. And we will definitely hear those requests and determine those on a case-by-case basis. I think the other two there, just to understand, and this is really with Chris and Danny's team, is that there may be situations where a particular employee, their total compensation position to market, or how they're being paid compared to others is not looking exactly right, and so there may be situations where the bonus percentage will be slightly adjusted to address those issues as well. Important point that hourly employee bonuses will continue to be discretionary. And this is really to maintain compliance with certain wage and hour regulations. We certainly think that those hourly employees were going to be kind of tracking to some of these same principles that apply to the other positions, but we have to continue to make those bonuses discretionary as they have been in the past. Looking at who's eligible to participate in the plan, all regular office employees are eligible, no interns or temp agency workers. If you were hired on or before October 31st, you'll receive a prorated bonus based on your time in the position. So if you started, sometime in the middle of the year, your target percentage was, 10% of your salary and there were no major adjustments. If you were there half the year, you would get half of that amount. If you're hired after October 31st, you're not eligible for the bonus until the following year. We ask that the employees are actively employed and in good standing at the time of payout. We don't want people leaving on January 1st and expecting their bonus. The last point is that if before October 31st, an employee receives a promotion or change, then we're going to be looking at that position for determining your target bonus percentage. If you got promoted or you changed roles after October 31st, then we're going to calculate your bonus based on your position at the start of the year. I'm sure there are a bunch of questions, and Danny, I don't know if, maybe at the end we can take those and try to answer any questions that you have. Again,
Correct.
Looking at the next slide, I mentioned this earlier, very important point. I'm sorry, Danny, was there something you wanted to say? No?
Oh yes, I was saying that we will be reviewing the questions in a little bit.
Okay. So the corporate bonus plan is going to be in 2026 for payout in 27. Again, the payout for your bonuses in March of next year are going to be based on the current existing bonus plan. This is just a couple simple examples to give you an idea of how the bonus plan will work. If you're a procurement analyst in the organization, as we showed in one of the earlier slides, you have been leveled at a grade 9. The target bonus percentage for a grade 9 is 4%. Your base salary is $70,000, so your target bonus would be $2,800. Your performance rating meeting expectations, probably not subject to adjustment within that plus or minus 5%, based on the fact that you're meeting expectations. Next example, here's a IT business systems analyst. They're leveled at a grade 10. I think, important point in this little dialog box is that, it has that word analyst, which might make you think that it's the same as a procurement analyst, which was at grade 9. But the grading scales are very specific to years of experience, managerial responsibilities, etc. So something that might even have a similar title might have a different grade. In any event, this is a grade 10. Target bonus percentages are slightly higher for a grade 10 than they are for a grade 9. Again, because you're meeting expectations, there wouldn't be an expectation of having an adjustment to that target bonus percentage. Looking at a couple more, logistics manager, grade 13, target bonus is 10%. You're going to, see a $12,000 target for your bonus. With the exceeding expectations, your manager can adjust that percentage upwards of 5%, and can do it even more. But again, as I mentioned earlier, would need to present that to the executive comp committee for review and approval.
And then Hank, you missed the does not meet expectation one.
I missed a not meeting? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Going back to the engineer, my apologies. On the engineer, here you have a grade 11, 5% target, but they do not meet expectations. So in that situation, that could drop all the way down to no bonus at all under the plan. Okay. So going back, I think we've gone through most of the examples. Just in terms of the communication here, here we are towards the end of the year. We're having some of these webinars. We're hoping to be able to get out some workshops and some other open forums so that we can continue to answer questions, even if that rolls into the beginning of next year. We want everyone to at least understand the basic components of the plan, get out some Q&A and FAQs so that, everyone feels pretty comfortable that they understand their position moving into next year.
Okay, we do have some questions that came in. Some people are asking, when will job grade be posted to Workday? It will be available on January 1st.
Yeah.
The senior, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try to help answer.
Your team can answer that.
Yep. And then the senior administrative assistant applied to the bonus. Senior administrative assistant is an hourly role, so therefore it will remain to be discretionary.
Correct. Let's just make sure we answer each question. I thought if you want me to answer, the first question is yes, January 1st for the leveling to see your level in Workday, and the hourly employees, as we mentioned before, will be discretionary.
Correct.
Right.
Any other questions?
Someone say, did I hear that bonus will be 20% of our salary?
No, again, the percentage, your target bonus percentage will also be in Workday, so you'll see your level. Every level will have the same target bonus percentage. So first off, don't think that if you're a level 10 and someone else is a level 10 that you would have a different target percentage. You will have the same percentage at that level, and that information will be available to you January 1st.
Let me actually scroll through really quick.
So when the grade levels are rolled out on January 1st, to answer your question, Nathan, yes, the percentages will also be defined at that point in time in Workday. So you'll see grade 9, 4% as an example, right in the Workday profiles that you have, and we'll provide further instructions about how you get to that, where you find it, and those more specifics as we get closer to that January 1st rollout.
We'll also have opportunity to discuss both with your manager and the HR business partner. If you have any questions about how that leveling process, it is a very robust, objective look at the different roles within the company. It's tied to experience. Chris, if you want to speak to it, that was sort of your life the last couple of years, but I think it's important for the employees to understand how that process was done. Chris, you have any thoughts there? Yeah.
Job description. Absolutely. So the job descriptions are evaluated in partnership with the HR folks and the business leaders in the organization. So for grade 9, as an example, would usually be an entry-level professional. So there are entry-level professional roles in project management, in finance, in HR, in procurement, in safety. And so an entry-level role, grade 9, would be a grade 9 across all job families based upon that same criteria. An intermediate level role as an intermediate professional, usually a salary role, would be a grade 10. And so there's grade 10 roles that exist in project management, finance, procurement, HR, et cetera, et cetera. And so those levels were evaluated based upon a set of criteria that we looked at, including subject matter expertise, communication ability, the impact on the organization, how much you're involved in the strategy, all those questions that an individual would ask when they're looking at a job description. And so then to ensure that we're leveling the jobs consistently across the organization. And then like Hank said, once we've assured with some certainty that the job is indeed an intermediate level role, for example, then we can then assign the percentage amount that would be in alignment with that grade level based upon where you are in the career path. So we're going to give further visibility to the grade level as well as the percentage values on January 1st. And like Hank said, any questions can be directed to either your HR partner or directly to your manager about questions about the job leveling itself.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
More questions?
Some other question that came in. Will PM also have a target percentages loaded in Workday? They will show the default corporate bonus, and whatever bonus that they have in addition to the current formulaic plan would not be in Workday. It will show the default corporate bonus part.
So as we talked about earlier, there is one situation where a project manager might be paid under this corporate plan versus under the formulaic project plan. And that might be a situation where the project has not made the profits to generate the bonus under the project plan. In that situation, the corporate plan will provide, if it provides more bonus than you would get under the formulaic plan, then you would default to that. So you're going to see your level within Workday for that reason. You're also going to see that level because obviously, Chris was, or not so obviously, I shouldn't say that, but these levels are part of your career development, right? So you want to see where you are and where you can go within the organization, both within your own family, but also if you were thinking of maybe shifting horizontally at some point into other job families, it's important to know where you sit from a leveling perspective. So that information is important, not just for your bonus calculation.
Absolutely.
Perfect. We have a question from Brandon. Can we get our performance review in Workday earlier this year? Was it challenging to complete them in only 2 weeks last year? Let me just really speak to this one really quick. You will be receiving your performance review on December 1st. It will be launched. And basically you have time to complete it as well as your manager for them to complete and actually meet with you before January 20 something.
We did build in a little more time there.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Yep. And then Brian Morris, when will perimeters for field personnel and field management be rolled out, share for 2027 and beyond? Field personnel and field management, you're probably talking about the superintendent, the general foreman, the foreman, is that correct?
With the word, what will the what be rolled out? I didn't understand that.
Parameters.
The parameters.
Basically sort of like a plan. And I'm guessing is actually it will remain what it is, right?
Right. For next year.
Yeah, if I'm understanding the question correctly, the project-based plans for those roles will remain in place.
Another question, will all percentages level be made public knowledge, or would it be a chart given to be, basically it's saying, will a chart be given to understand the percentage per level, or is this information strictly personal?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think, a couple things. One, we're not going to publish a chart with all the percentages. Main reason being that that's not information that we want outside of the company. What we pay our people is is a competitive advantage in some sense. So that being said, I think as if you're a level 10 and you want to see, and your target percentage is X, and you want to know, hey, as I work towards a level 11, how will my target bonus percentage change? That information will be made available to you through your manager, through the HR business partner, because it's part of your career development. So answer your question, you're not going to see a chart. You all are probably smart enough to talk to your friends and figure out what percentages are, once all this information comes out. but certainly as part of your career development, you will be provided with transparency around the target bonus percentages as you continue to grow in the organization.
Perfect. We have another question that came through. Does length of time with Rosendin affect the bonus or just by title and grade level? Some titles don't have the same growth factors. They don't have the room for growth.
I'll start with that, Hank, and then you can jump on if that's all right.
Please.
So the individual career paths that exist across job families are completely driven by business need. So using myself as an example, I was the first comp person that was hired by the organization. That was the business need at that time. And as the business has grown, I was able to then hire Danny to help me and support the growth of my little area of compensation for the organization. That same approach holds true for finance, for payroll, for operations at very different levels. So a career path is again driven by the growth of the organization. As you all may have heard, we're growing in leaps and bounds. So the opportunity for growth is going to continue to grow as we grow as an organization. But to answer your more specific question about the bonus based upon time in the organization, it would be determined by your time in the organization if you were to start like halfway through the year, like Hank said in the example earlier. So maybe you would receive 50% of your bonus. But the amount of your bonus payment, if you've been there for the full year, is going to be driven by that target. And then your manager will have an ability to adjust that up by 5% or down by 5% based upon all the factors that Hank mentioned earlier, where you are in the pay band, what your performance has been, how the organization has been doing, et cetera, et cetera.
Hank, do you have anything to add? Or should I move on to the next question?
You may have a certain... Yeah, can you hear?
I think there's a little lag.
Me? I'm trying to talk now. Jeez. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can't hear me.
I hear you now.
So I was just going to say that to follow up on Chris's point, you may have a certain title within the organization. As the scope of responsibility grows within that title, based on the growth of the organization, the value to the business changes and your grade level may change as a result, therefore changing the amount of your target bonus percentage. So it's title based, but yet as your role evolves, that title may become a different grade level. So
that's correct. And basically how that would work is your manager would go to your HR partner and say, listen, Danny's role has evolved in the last, and the description would be updated, and then again we would reevaluate it based upon the new skills to ensure that it needs to be adjusted accordingly. So that's how it would work.
Perfect. I'm going to move on to the next question. Will the formulaic bonus stay in effect in the future or just next year?
We are looking at that. There may be some changes, but as of right now, the concept of having a separate project-based bonus plan is not something that we're looking to change.
Okay. And then are the project qualification the same as before?
Yeah, we have not changed any of the criteria under the project bonus plan.
Someone else asked, what is the formulaic project bonus?
There is a project-based bonus plan that those individual titles that I mentioned on the earlier slide are under that plan, and it does have a formulaic approach to it. And if it's something that you're one of those positions, you know, and you don't know what the terms of the plan are, then that's something that we should, you know, get in touch with your manager and have those conversations.
Mhm. Does the 2025 bonus plan still operate on the same October 31st hire date criteria?
The project plan is completely separate from the corporate plan. So we have not incorporated any of the terms or conditions under the corporate plan to the project plan.
Oh, they were asking on the 2025 bonus plan, which is this current bonus plan year, does it still have the October 31st hire date criteria? I guess whether or not they be eligible for a bonus in next March.
No, that's what I was trying to answer, is that
Okay.
there is no October 31st criteria built into the project plans. It's discretionary.
Okay. And then someone asked, are we defining bonus and annual raises as separate items?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Has the cap max been changed or is it still the same? I don't know what that means.
Probably
Well,
under the
there's-
project plan
Yes.
is what they're talking about. And yes, the project plan has not changed.
Okay, someone else. Number one, fusion issues are not allowing jobs to close out projects. Is this being taken into account for this year?
It assumes so, but that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't either, but certainly I would start by talking to your manager about your concerns, and they can rope us in on the back end so that we can assist in reconciling that.
Okay. And then secondly, when is the official closeout date for project-based bonus? Seems to be not clear around the divisions.
Can you repeat that question for me?
When is the official closeout date for project-based bonuses? It seems to not be clear around the divisions.
I would probably reach out to your manager or the finance individual that supports your team for that project with questions about that criteria. Finance has typically been very intimately involved in capturing the project specific information from each of the projects, gathering that information, and then calculating the projects themselves. That's going to remain the same. And so any questions about deadlines or project closeout dates should be directed to your, I guess, initially to your manager.
Correct. Another question, if you receive a project bonus, will you also receive a corporate bonus?
No. No, you receive the project bonus unless the project bonus is less than what you would have received under the corporate plan, in which case you will receive the corporate plan bonus and not a project-based bonus.
That's correct.
When is the annual raise review period this year?
It's all the same cycle now. So your raise, your bonus is all in the March, April timeframe.
Yeah, we'll provide a more specific calendar. As Danny mentioned, the performance review cycle begins on December 1st. There'll be a few weeks for you to go in and record your performance information in Workday, and then it will be handed off to your manager for them to add their comments as well. And then once the performance closes, then we'll be launching the comp cycle. We'll take the performance criteria into consideration and the increase that you get to your base pay. And then, as Hank said, shortly thereafter, you'll be receiving your bonus for 2025 as you have in previous years. But it's all going to be happening in that March, April timeframe, as he explained.
Awesome. There was another question follow-up talking about the length of time with Rosenin. And basically it says to recap the amount of years in a specific position or ad resident is not taken into account, question mark. For instance, there are certain roles like engineering where you can grow into a technical expert with time, but still be an engineer 3 or 4. I guess that's a question.
Yeah, I'll try to speak to that. So sticking to your example of engineering, the engineering roles and the roles that are posted to hire are based upon business need. So if an engineering manager, a hiring manager, has the need for an engineer 2, then they're going to put a posting out for an engineer 2. If they have an need for an engineer 3 or an engineer 4, then they'll post those roles. So it's all driven by the business need. And then the employees, of course, have the opportunity to either apply to those roles as a promotion or a lateral move. But again, it's all driven by the business need. And you're right, the percentage values are tied to the role based upon your time in the organization. And an individual can choose to either remain in a role for an extended period of time or consider another role in the organization. And that will, you're right, affect the bonus percentage, but it's again all driven by the business need of the organization.
I would also note, and if I'm understanding the situation, is that as you continue in a particular role, your salary is of course increasing as well, and so the target percentage is being taken on a much higher salary. So you may be in the same title as another employee who hasn't been there as long. It's probably likely that your salary is significantly higher, and therefore your bonus is higher.
You bet.
Awesome. Candace, thank you. Candace mentioned 12/31 is the official closeout date for project-based bonuses, to answer one of the questions from earlier. We have another question from the safety department. For the safety department, is the new bonus structure going to reflect the new reorg for the department, which has yet to be published, or is it going to be the current structure for the safety department?
We'll have to follow up with Scott and the HR team to give you on that. I don't know, honestly, but we can check with Scott and see where they're at.
It does bring up a point, which is that as we continue to evolve and our structures within our departments change, there may be need to look at the leveling that we currently have and make adjustments. And so, that's a fluid situation, and we can't have the bonus dictating how our departments are looking to structure themselves. And so we'll have to make those adjustments as needed and deal with that on a case-by-case basis.
Got it. Someone else asked, I think more clarity on project bonus pool plan is what we are hoping for. Can you explain on the plan, please?
Yeah, I think the intent of this meeting was to focus on the corporate bonus plan rollout and to let people know that those that were on the project bonus plan would stay there. It's a great bit of feedback that further information and clarity is needed regarding the existing project-based plan. I think for us to do that, we'd want to make sure we have all the right people in the room, including the project folks on the operations side, our leadership there, to make sure to answer any questions. But I think it's a great bit of feedback, and Danny, and Chris, let's think about how we can come out with maybe some further webinars that are more focused on the project plan.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Someone else, to clarify project-based bonus versus corporate plan, corporate would be a yearly distribution, except for when you have a project that close out on a year that surpasses the corporate amount. then you would only receive the project-based bonus. Is that correct? You will only receive one or the other any given year.
Correct.
Right.
Perfect. Let me actually we have some questions in the Q&A. I think more clarity on project. Okay, I think I talked about that one.
Yep.
How was it to determine which plan you fell under? If you spent X% of time on a active job site, do you fall under project?
And first off, I think that falls to our other question, which we need to get a separate, webinar in place with the operations leaders to kind of work through some of the unique circumstances around the project-based plan. So I think I'd like to let's make sure we table that, Danny, and then put together something so we can make sure to circle back and answer those questions on the project-based plan.
Got it. And then this is probably similar, but I just want to make sure I read out the question and then we could actually address it so the person doesn't feel like they're being left out. Is it the case that APMs and PMs are going to receive one or the other bonus structure based on project closeout? Additionally, will the bonus pool for project-specific bonuses be spread more evenly across the project team?
First off, there is one piece that we can answer, which is that assistant project managers are not under the project plan. They're moving over to the corporate plan for next year. So when I showed you the slide with the different roles that will remain under the project plan, APMs are not listed. They will fall under the corporate plan and will not be eligible under the project plan. The rest of that question, I think, is something that that we should address in a separate webinar.
Okay.
Agreed.
I have one last question. Seemingly, it's now 11:23. If your salary is priced out of the market for your position, you have no room to move up to the next position, and you don't receive a raise, can you make up for it with the bonus plan by exceeding expectations?
I do think if you exceed expectations that, as we mentioned, you can have a plus 5% adjustment on your target bonus percentage. So yes, you can make additional dollars under the bonus plan if you are exceeding expectations.
Perfect. And then one more, with reviews having direct impact on bonuses, would there be similar effort to create baseline meets expectations across groups and grades?
That's a great question. Yes, we are continuing to reevaluate our performance review process. We've made the decision for this year that it will be the status quo based upon meets expectations, exceeds expectations, or below expectations for this next cycle that begins on December 1st. So we're continuing to toward better alignment across the organization as far as what meeting expectations is. And we'll continue to provide more clarity on that in the coming months if we make any revisions to that.
I might just say a little bit more on that, which is I think that we are very focused on ensuring that the performance review process is done in a way that creates fairness across the organization, in the sense that one manager that is just going to give everyone exceeds expectations versus another manager that is a hard grader and gives everyone below expectations. We are, our team, the people department, is working with those managers, looking at how those evaluations are coming in and addressing anomalies so that we try to drive objectivity and a sense of fairness across different parts of the organization. So I think that's consistent with what Chris is saying. And it's something that we work on every cycle with our managers to try to get closer to a system that, properly evaluates all of our people.
Bet.
Another question, so will project bonus pools disappear also for multi-year plans?
Nothing is changing on the project bonus side.
I believe this is actually talking about the pool. So actually there is a pool that was supported for some of the support functions.
Yeah, I mean, on the back end, when I talked about the plan being affordable, we will ensure that the target percentages that are in the plan are fully funded.
Another one, will estimators on the job site be considered under the corporate bonus plan or the project? Estimators.
I believe estimating is part of the corporate plan.
Oh,
Correct?
did you not hear? Can you hear me?
No, we can. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Estimators are corporate plan.
Awesome. I think that is all the questions that we have.
Great.
Great. Well, certainly as questions, you can continue to reach out to Danny, Chris, myself, with any further questions. I really appreciate all the questions that came in today. Definitely want to make sure that we answer a lot of the questions on the project bonus side as well. So, thank you.
Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks for attending.
Thank you
Right.
all. Thank you for attending. An event. And Hank, I think you guys